Alright, welcome back to another Art of War 3 replay. I'm your host, John Cena, and today we're going to be doing a clan 2v2 battle. I'm going to be the blue Confederate player, and my ally SkinnNBones is going to be the green Confederate player. So let's go and get into it. We're going to be facing off against two pretty strong resistance players. One of them is a multi-time medalist. They are ranked 20, and there's a ranked 21 player from POTROSHITEli. I am rank 19, and my partner SkinnNBones is rank 21. So we got some action unfolding on the battlefield here. I am HQ3 at this time, going for full Viking production with a few deltas to support just in case I need some anti-air against dragonflies. So here we go. Looks like yellow has gone for some alligators, and he is getting a scout onto our forces. Looks like SkinnNBones is going to scout the red player's base. We can see red is in fact HQ3, has double shipyards going for alligator production. And we can see these gators are scoring some hits onto one of the Vikings there. And we're going to start to move in some more reinforcements to take out these gators and engage. So here we go. This is going to be our first major naval engagement of the battle. And we can see that the gators are starting to retreat here. Red's coming in with their gators. My Vikings are coming in to meet the gators in combat. The gators are going to turn around and retreat. So we can see now my Vikings are in pursuit of the gators. And it looks like the gators retreated so they could position themselves in a better concave. So we can see my Vikings are not very well organized here. Here we go. The alligators are now re-engaging with my naval forces. I've got a gold naval attack boost to optimize the firepower of my Vikings. And we can see there's actually a lot more gators than I anticipated. So I am taking some heavy casualties here, but I am also able to dish out some decent damage against the resistance side, but there are just way too many gators. I'm going to lose this first engagement. One of those Vikings is retreating. I am getting reinforcements though out. So we're going to go ahead and reset our defensive line here, and we're going to get some more Vikings out to reinforce. So we can see that just continuing to produce more Vikings, I tell SkinnNBones to line up his Vikings so that we get a nice line for defensive capabilities just to optimize the positioning. Looks like SkinnNBones is getting the scout, and we can see those alligators are in a very nice concave position. I'm going to go ahead and get the Vikings close to max command points. SkinnNBones is HQ4 at this time. It's going to send Vertex to get a scout. And we can see that there's a lot of gators at the side there as well. So I'm going to go ahead and drop some torpedo platforms down just to reinforce my flank there. And that'll allow me to potentially focus my Vikings towards the middle and the left side of my line there. So gold construction boost. Gonna get those platforms down, throw down 5 platforms since I'm HQ4 at this time. We can see a JCP army moving in, trying to engage SkinnNBones on the ground here. SkinnNBones is now having to defend the ground here. It looks like he's doing a pretty good job so far. One of those chameleons does get cleaned up. Vertex comes in, nice score from the Vertex. And it looks like this chameleon army is on the defensive here. SkinnNBones dropping structures down to reveal the units in the fog, and it's working out nicely. SkinnNBones is now able to land some direct hits on those units. Vertex coming back in. Oh, and they're going to snipe a few units there. Really nice pickup from SkinnNBones. And just checking in here on my end, just making sure that SkinnNBones is doing okay, and SkinnNBones is in fact going to be able to push away this assault. So we're continuing to produce more Vikings at this point. This positioning is not super great. Could be better. Could also be a lot worse. Trying to see if I can bait some of the alligators there to come forward and engage my torpedo platforms. We're going to go ahead now and launch our Vikings forward. This is going to be the second major naval engagement of the battle. And we can see that they weren't exactly expecting us, so we do have a little bit of combat initiative here. Red is now going to go ahead and move in with their Vikings. Yellow's coming in with their alligators as well. Excuse me, I said that red was bringing in Vikings. I meant that red was bringing in their alligators. My side in SkinnNBones, we are bringing in our Vikings, engaging in a very large-scale battle. Look at the scale of this naval combat here. Both sides were taking some pretty heavy fire. Looks like my side is slowly starting to run out of Vikings before the resistance side starts to run out of Gators. It is in fact essentially a 2v1 on the water here. SkinnNBones is providing some support, but it's not as much as the yellow player is providing their ally. So just down to a few torpedo platforms for defense, producing a few more Vikings here. And it was really nice that I had those torpedo platforms. It's going to protect my flank there. Now we can see that yellow is trying to make a move to flank. SkinnNBones doing a really good job though, continuing that Viking production, is able to directly intercept these Gators as they attempt to make their way towards SkinnNBones' base. And we can see now red is trying to follow the same thread as well. SkinnNBones has a couple Vikings at the bottom there and is in production of torpedo platforms. These Gators now making a big move, trying to see if they can break through. It does not look like these Gators are going to be able to break through. We're holding the line so far. SkinnNBones' Vikings doing a really nice job just intercepting these Gators. The Gators are now having to engage the Vikings. They're not able to make it to SkinnNBones' base without taking heavy casualties. And now the numbers are starting to dwindle. Red knows this, and red is going to go ahead and retreat here. And so these Vikings are coming in from my end. Just trying to intercept now. We can see that I've got triple level 2 shipyards for mass Viking production, which is an optimal setup for if you're focusing on Viking production on the water. We see that some of these Gators are moving into range of my torpedo platforms. So I'm going to be able to score some free hits there with the torpedo platforms. And with those hits, I'm going to clean up the Gators. Meanwhile, we see JCP once again trying to move on to SkinnNBones, but SkinnNBones has a really nice defensive line with those walls and the bunkers. So I'm just going to focus on continuing Viking production. These units here, these Jaguars, trying to break through. They're destroying the walls, costing SkinnNBones a few resources. But again, they are heavily delayed in trying to break through. And SkinnNBones is able to buy time with this defensive line to develop a ground army to counter the JCP as needed. Then we see those Jaguar tanks just continue to fire onto the walls there, slowly but surely cleaning up the walls there, and denying visual for SkinnNBones. Here comes the Vertex from SkinnNBones, trying to see if they can score some hits there. And we can see now SkinnNBones is going to go ahead and move his units in. He's got Zeus tanks mixed with infantry and a shield generator to support. He's also dropping a couple structures down in a strategic manner to try and reveal the units in the fog. And that JCP army is forced to retreat at this time. There he comes, the Vertex coming in. They score a nice hit on some of the units there. They swing back in. A couple more Jaguar tanks get cleaned up. Really nice pickup for the Vertex. The Vertex are just continuing to wreak havoc on the JCP. JCP is going to have to retreat. Meanwhile, on the water, looks like a couple Gators coming in, trying to engage our Vikings here. And we're going to go ahead and fire onto those Gators here. Looks like we got a nice engagement unfolding here. Looks like there's more Gators starting to stream in now. They're starting to be pulled in by the Vikings, but I don't think this is great positioning for the Gators. I'm going to throw on a gold attack boost here. We're going to commit to this attack. We're going to see what happens. And we can see that red and yellow have actually set up a really nice concave. SkinnNBones just continuing to defend on his side. And now the concave of Gators is starting to move in onto our troops. And now you've got another major naval engagement unfolding on the battlefield. And we can see that my Vikings are trying to get into positioning. The Gators, I believe, have better positioning, but my Vikings are pretty well upgraded, and they're able to take some decent punishment before they go down. I also have those torpedo platforms to my advantage, and we're able to score some free hits with the torpedo platforms in addition to my Vikings dishing out damage. So I'm also producing more Vikings, just continuing to reinforce my army as the ships here just fight it out on the water. And we can see here that as the fighting engages and continues, we can see that both sides are pretty much out of ships for the most part. SkinnNBones is going to come in, score a nice hit on that alligator, and we can see that this time around, the numbers are very even. my side possibly might be coming out with the win for this particular engagement, considering that I've still got more Vikings coming in. I do have the production advantage because we are closer to my front lines, and we're going to be able to probably clean up these last couple of Gators. SkinnNBones coming in with the Vertex support, and we're going to get those Gators very nicely. So we're just down to 4 Vikings. It's not quite enough to push an assault onto the red player, so we're going to go ahead and wait. JCP, meanwhile, trying to collect this resource container on the top of the cliff. This bunker is revealing some of the units, but looks like yellow is going to go ahead and clean up that bunker. Walls are coming down for SkinnNBones just to set up that defensive line, just to buy time. Meanwhile, SkinnNBones is waiting with that ground army and the aviation as needed. So the Jaguars in the JCP there, we can see that the fog has just turned off. Those Jaguars are just dishing out steady damage against the walls. This is forcing SkinnNBones to have to rebuild, which is costing him resources. So it looks like SkinnNBones is going to try and solve this. So he's now going to move in with the infantry, but he's going to go ahead and retreat. He just does not have good positioning. Here we go, gold naval attack boost, another engagement unfolding here on the battlefield. We've got a decent amount of Vikings. It's not full command points, but we can see that the Gators for the resistance side are not fully in position. So it looks like the concave is forming around my units. Meanwhile, yellow still trying to put pressure onto SkinnNBones. Big naval engagement now unfolding once again. We are just slugging it out on the ocean here. And we can see that more ships are streaming in for my side, just trying to reinforce this particular attack here. So just keeping those gold naval attack boosts going to try and keep the momentum. Going to throw on another gold attack boost there, just to keep engaging these Gators toe to toe. And we can see that it's just absolute carnage on the ocean here as I continue to try and bring in reinforcements on my end. And we can see that the Gators are slowly being cleaned up, and this is good news for us. We are trying to obtain naval supremacy. Naval supremacy on this map is particularly important with both players having their bases so close to the water. So I'm actually going to flag the shipyards, and I'm going to tell SkinnNBones to hit the shipyards with the Vertex. So here comes SkinnNBones, and here comes the JCP from the yellow player. One of those shipyards is going to go down. We can see that red had triple shipyards just like I did, but now red is down a shipyard and is also trying to replenish their navy. So I've actually got the advantage here, and if I can max out my command points quickly, I can launch a good assault here. Here we go, JCP trying to move in onto SkinnNBones. SkinnNBones has plenty of infantry, that shield generator, and Zeus tanks though. Really nice mix of units here to counter the JCP, and SkinnNBones needs to hold the line here. Here comes the Vertex, cleans up a unit, very nicely done. SkinnNBones is having no problem repelling this JCP army. So SkinnNBones is going to go ahead and retreat. Those Jaguar tanks on the top of the cliff have positional advantage. And now here we go, SkinnNBones is going to move back in after the JCP tries to close the distance. And looks like the yellow player is a little bit trapped here. There's a few walls there, and this is just not great maneuvering positioning for the yellow player. Yellow's kind of in a corner at the moment. There's the walls to the back, and SkinnNBones' army to the front. They're having to defend against the incursions from SkinnNBones. Another Chameleon is going to activate, but we saw for a split second there, there's only a handful of Jaguar tanks in there. Yellow does not have enough to press a full ground assault. Here we go. Big naval attack here, coming once again. My Vikings, supported by a few of SkinnNBones' Vikings, are going to go ahead and engage the resistance side. Our goal is to get to the shipyards. If we can cut production from the resistance side, that is going to essentially be good game. It's going to be very difficult for the red player to catch back up. So now we can see big engagement on all sides. SkinnNBones has brought in his Vikings, and now we can see that my Vikings are starting to get to the production. Red is in trouble here. Yellow's desperately trying to reinforce on the water, but we just have too many Vikings here. I'm continuing to pump out more Vikings as this battle is unfolding. And we can see these last few Gators are getting cleaned up. This is not looking good for the resistance side. And we can see we're starting to get closer and closer to the production for the red player. Red's in trouble here. Red's now trying to produce grenadiers to defend the shoreline. That's a bad sign. Indicates that Red is truly running out of options here. We've just cleaned up one of the shipyards, and with that last bit, we're going to clean up the other naval shipyard. Now we have naval supremacy in the proximity of Red's base. Yellow is still trying to send reinforcements, but it's just not working out. And we can see that now my Vikings are starting to rain heavy fire on the Grenadiers. Those Grenadiers are just getting crushed by the cannons on the Vikings. So now my Vikings are free to just wreak havoc on the red player's base. Yellow is running out of options here. Yellow is desperately trying to break SkinnNBones here with the JCP, but SkinnNBones is just doing so well to defend against the JCP. And SkinnNBones is so patient with just waiting for the JCP to move onto the base before dropping barracks. So just continuing to use my gold naval attack boost here. I have the extra range. And we can see that the JCP is having to retreat. It's only down to a couple chameleons, and really you can't do a whole lot with a couple chameleons there. My Navy's continuing to destroy Red's base. We see a few torpedo platforms though on the water. Red's still trying to put up somewhat of a fight though. I'm going to go ahead and move my Vikings in to take out the platforms. Meanwhile, SkinnNBones moving his forces onto that ledge to get map control. We can see my Viking there just positioned just behind the cliff to avoid the torpedoes, and now we're going to move in just to save a few of my hit points there. But at this point, it's pretty much a good game for the red player unless Red's got a surprise up their sleeve. So now just going to slowly but steadily move my Vikings over and just take control of this area. We're going to clean up these torpedo platforms. Resistance naval torpedo platforms are not nearly as good as the Confederate platforms. And we can see that that single torpedo at a time is showing. Alright, so that's pretty much a good game. Hope you all enjoyed this battle. We'll see you in the next battle.